Welcome to Are We Old? The show featuring two comedians getting nostalgic and tackling life's toughest question, Are we old? Here's your hosts, Mike Fenoya and Charles McBee.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Are We Old? I'm Mike Fenoya.
And I'm Charles McBee.
And this is the podcast where we get nostalgic and answer the question, are we old or is it just the world? How you doing today, my man?
Good, man. You ever feel like you're just doing like 10 things at once? You're just like...
Always.
It's at that point you're just answering emails, answering text messages. Got to fill this out. Got to send this back. Got to do this. It's like, I don't like this adulting stuff. And I don't think it ever goes away.
No. Oh, no, it doesn't. And also, it's so funny, the definition, that's a word, adulting, that I took very, you know how some words find their way into our ether and you kind of wonder how they got there? And adulting was one that when I first heard it, it annoyed me because I feel like I've been adulting since I was 7, maybe 8. Mm-hmm. And people go like, oh, look at me, like I'm paying my first water bill, hashtag adulting.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay. Well, I learned how to cook when I was 9. Hashtag adulting because the adults weren't adulting.
Well, I think that's also just a latchkey generation where certain things that we qualify as adulting, we just naturally were doing, whether adults were adulting or not. Like, I remember I was like, after school, I would make my own, food until my mom would get home, or I would, have to watch my sister, or have to, I would wash my own clothes, iron my own, like, we did all our own stuff. So, yeah, I guess when it comes to adulting for me, it's always the things that I just didn't anticipate beyond the adulting that I was already doing as a preteen or a teenager. It's just it's just these minute things. Like, I can clean my home. I can, fix my dinner. Like, all that kind of stuff. When people go, oh, adulting, fix the dinner. Screw you.
Exactly, dude.
You moron. What are you, an idiot?
You know what the worst part is, too, is when they're grocery shopping and they call it adulting. It's like, what? Are you serious? Did you have a maid growing up?
Call me when the IRS sends you a letter in the mail.
I know, right? Seriously.
Then we can talk about adulting. You twat.
It gets us angry, and it is a thing of like it really. I think about that where I want to get to the point where I'm childing.
Yes.
For the first time in my life. I think that's a definition of success, is like when you adult enough to make enough money and have the freedom to be like, oh, yo, I could punch out. I just want to be a child.
That's it. I think you coined that. Childing. We want to get back to
childing.
Hashtag childing.
What did you do this week that was childing?
I let's play, playing with my dog and just not caring.
Yep.
There's something to. So every morning I get up and I would just walk around the neighborhood. I go to, there's a botanical garden not too far away. Go there.
You're kidding?
Just soak in like just nature and stuff like that. And it really grounds me and it brings me back to a sense of childing, in the sense of no feeling of responsibility, no feeling of, having to do this, having to do that. My phone is off. I don't even have AirPods in. Because
wow.
I don't want any distract. I just want to be grounded in life, taking life however it's coming. And doing that, it reminds me of being a kid, because being a kid, we didn't have AirPods. There was no noise cancellation device that we would jam into our eardrums.
Yeah.
So that we didn't have to deal with life in reality. It was just,
dude,
soaked in. You raw dog life.
You raw
however
dog
it
life.
Was.
Yes. You know what noise cancellation was? That.
Yeah.
This is how you that's how you cancel. And you want to know what, VR, I saw a kid the other day who was like, at a park, and there was so much going on. It was this amazing park where it was like those sprinklers that you don't know where they're going to pop out of. Like if I was a kid, I would have like begged every day to go to this park. So many fun things to do. And this kid had VR glasses on, and he was laying on the ground looking up at the sky with VR glasses. And you know what I was thinking, Charles? You know what my VR was? I would lay on the ground and rub my eyes until the stars appeared.
Oh yeah.
Like I would make a laser show, probably damaging my rods and cones for sure.
Yeah.
But I was just knuckling my own eyes until I could see those like pink and white stars. And then when you open your eyes and your vision kind of comes back.
Yeah, man.
That was the sphere, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Speaking of sprinklers, by the way.
Yeah.
I was out. And a neighbor had the sprinklers, and there's a second question to this. He had the sprinklers on, and it was the sprinklers. My favorite sprinkler. If we want to get into some grown man shit,
what was your favorite sprinkler?
I had two. My favorite was the one. The favorite was the one where it goes like this. It's just like the streams go up, and it does like a claw kind of rotation back and forth. And so you could either stand there and wait for it to slowly come upon you, or you could like run in and run out.
Yes.
And the other one was the one where it's just jet streams. It just pops up out of the ground, and you just got a jet stream. Yeah.
Okay, This is a fantastic question. What was your favorite sprinkler? Ready? Look. What was your favorite sprinkler for the clips?
Yeah.
I would say, dude, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because the one that was like that you just put on the ground and it just slowly kind of rainbowed up and down, I feel like that was almost kind of like a minor league sprinkler, where it's like it's not going to hurt you. You can approach it and we're both boys.
Yeah.
If it tickled your undercarriage a little bit, it was fun, And it was a little bit refreshing, a little, kind of like a dainty fluffing, if you will.
Right.
However, as you aged,
you graduated to
you
that
kind of graduated towards, because listen, let's be honest. We're talking sprinkler. We're talking bathing suit. We're talking summertime. The water would hit you in your nether regions, and you had to kind of adjust and adapt and react based on, but I saw kids just straight up sit on a sprinkler. Like there were kids that like the ones that you're talking about with like the spike that would go down and you just.
Yeah.
There were kids that would pretty much just like park it on the sprinkler, and they're like, their eyes you'd watch them see, they're meeting God. Like that was DMT to a kid.
Yeah, it was great time.
So but I would say I'd have to, there were also these like weird fun. I had a Snoopy sprinkler.
Oh yeah.
That was. Now you're unlocking. This is the beauty of this podcast, is that like the dopamine and the rushes of serotonin from having memories, like, about stuff. I had a Snoopy sprinkler that was a plastic spike that went in, and it was his doghouse, Snoopy laying on top, Woodstock sitting on his head, and the water would shoot out of like the middle of him.
Wow! All right.
In like a Bellagio type, event.
Okay. All right.
And it was so fun because it shot the water in a lot of different directions, but nothing comes for free in life.
Yeah.
I whacked my ankles on the corners of that doghouse so many times because I'm trying to run through, and I'm in the merriment of having fun with my sprinkler and not looking down and getting like a hard plastic, right angle jammed into your tibia.
Right.
It's definitely not a fun part of life, but that was a really fun sprinkler.
Yeah, man. Childing, man.
Childing,
we gotta do it.
So are you saying that what we should do is every now and then jump in a sprinkler?
Jump in a sprinkler, man. Jump in a sprinkler.
I think I might start.
Even in the city, like if you're in New York City, sometimes you go different places and they'll have like the public, little kid sprinkler or kid little whatever. And you see how much fun they're having. Now, I don't jump in because, I don't want to get arrested. But listen, it's fun. It's a good time. And you remind yourself, sometimes you just got to jump in a sprinkler every now and then.
So, all right. Did you grow up with a pool?
No, I didn't grow. I grew up in proximity of pools. It was always the go down the street. They got a pool up the street. Go across the street. They're in the pool across. I see the kids playing in the pool. Go over there. But I never personally grew up with a pool.
Okay, I was not a pool kid either. I was a POOR kid, not a POOL kid.
Gotcha.
And I'm wondering, that was a very interesting ask. As a kid that didn't have a pool, if you wanted to, no, that wasn't even enough. My parents got a pool after I went to college. Like, I mean, really.
It's the common denominator.
I went to college, and my parents go, "We're putting in a pool," and I was like, "Oh, I love you too, I guess." No, if a friend had a pool and you wanted to go over and go swimming in the pool, okay, that's a hard conversation because, like, do you wait until they ask you? Do you show up in the yard and be like, "Oh my God, I happen to have a towel over my shoulder"? Like, how did you approach? Maybe like inviting yourself to someone's pool
back then. So I don't know how back in the day, the community or neighborhoods were pretty, it was almost like extended family in a sense. Like you would go over to your friend's house and just go into their kitchen and grab a fruit snack or something. Like it was just that kind of
open
vibe.
Door policy.
It was an open door policy. So yeah, if they were in the pool, either you got the car or they would ride their bike over and say, "Hey, we're in the pool," or you would go over there and just be like, "It's lit." Like that's just kind of how it was.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you knew someone, if you really wanted to be a deviant, if you knew someone had a pool, as they moved into the neighborhood or whatever, like, oh, they're new neighbors or whatever, hurry up and get in with the, get in good so that when the pool opens, it's already a thing. You're not just showing up for the first time with your swim trunks on, You have some home training. You go introduce yourself.
Right. I get it. That's a good point. And in I moved a lot when I was a kid. So in one of my neighborhoods, my buddy Dennis, shout out Dennis, and Justin and Jessica, they had a pool, and it was that what's ours is yours and vice versa. So like he had a cool backyard. He had a pool, and then he had like 2 acres of woods with trails in the back and a river. And I mean, it was Narnia back there, dude. We played Predator. We played, Rambo. We played when we got into bikes. Everything happened in that backyard. And when we would go, his pool was like the pool to go swimming in, and it was an open door policy. So I would just show up in the backyard. In fact, I think I was even like, I'm just gonna leave a towel and trunks here.
Yeah,
like I kind of had like a locker without a locker. Was the pool that you went in as a kid above ground or in ground?
In ground.
Oh wow, fancy pants.
Yeah.
Damn,
dude,
dude,
you were living it up. Yeah,
you were pimping. This was an above ground pool, which our favorite thing. This was when the first chore that was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Was getting the bugs and the leaves out of the pool. And the way we did that was we made what we called a whirlpool. And we would just all walk. Who else did this? areweoldpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us who made a whirlpool with their friends. Everybody, before you got out of the pool, Charles, in order to get all the schmutz into the middle of the pool, you walked in a circle and made a current. So it just created this like whirlpool in the water, and all of like the leaves and sticks or anything that got in from jumping in and out would like accumulate in the middle, and then you would take the pool skimmer and just kind of like, scoop the foam off the cappuccino,
Oh, I never knew that.
This was a poor kid chore.
I never knew that.
You walk in circles, and it would encapsulate and kind of condense all of the sticks and bugs and stuff to the middle of the pool. And that was the first chore that I enjoyed. And I have always loved skimming a pool. I've never had a problem with that. I think that was like the first thing, like, if someone said like, clean up the backyard, I would go, I'll skim the pool, and I would jump in and skim my friend's pool.
Let's see, were there chores that I enjoy? I didn't mind mowing the lawn as a kid. It wasn't like a thing I mind doing. I kind of liked it actually.
Okay, well let me inquire.
Yeah.
Okay. Riding mower,
No.
push mower.
Push more self-propelled mower though.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Did you have to bag the clippings?
I did have to bag well, depending on how often. So if it's once a week, not too crazy because it would just kind of mulch its own stuff. It was
Yeah,
my
yeah,
dad.
sure.
My dad, he was pretty good on the mowers. Like he always had the top of the line stuff. So
Wow.
it kind of moved itself, and then it did, and it would just kind of shoot out little clippings if you did it often enough.
Sure. Sure.
And but then sometimes you would have to like bag it and stuff. But even that I didn't mind. I've never mind outdoor
Love it.
chores. I was just as a kid. I've always been like an outdoor kind of kid. Still am. Hence the walks every morning. I like being outdoors. I like being outside on a nice day. Obviously,
Yes.
if it's like 100 degrees, that's different. But
Yeah.
mowing the lawn was never a chore. I disliked the indoor chores way more than the outdoor.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. If I was not doing stand up, I would own a landscaping company. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I love landscaping. However, you are very lucky that you had the top of the line equipment because non-pool Mike over here had not the best equipment. In fact, I used to sabotage our mower so I could borrow our neighbor's tractor and ride that because our mower smoked so bad. Like it just like burnt oil and it was not self-propelled.
Yeah.
And we had a dusty yard. So a good grass. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand is like, there's landscaping nice grass is a whole other experience than mowing dust just to make lines. You know what I mean? Like
to make lines.
Just to make lines. I mean, that was part of my and I would like disconnect the spark plug and go, the mower's not starting. I got to go borrow the neighbor's tractor. And then I ride mower. That was fun. But when I started working for landscaping companies, I would ask my boss if we could go by and cut my parents' lawn real quick just so I could kind of, get my chores done faster. But I love outdoor chores.
There's something to a kid's in I don't know if it's intuition, but the fact that you had the presence of mind to think of those things, even if it was a scheme or whatever, but the fact that you had that knowledge to like think of those things, to me, that's always a sign of like, oh, this kid's got something. This kid's he's gonna be all right.
It's not that I was, and I wasn't trying to get out of cutting the grass.
Does it?
I wanted it to be done more efficient. I wanted it to look better. I didn't want to, give myself emphysema at 11 years old.
You were thinking smarter. You were working harder, smarter, not harder. Which is
adulting.
Yes, which is the key to adulting.
What's that? That would be called prepubescent adulting. Yeah. When you were early on. Hey, man, you know what? I think I want to hear from our listeners on how are you childing currently, Charles? Let's make childing adult again.
I like how you did that.
When you're a kid, you don't choose how you child.
And you don't know that you're childing. Like we have the presence of mind now to go adulting, but when you're a kid, that's why people always say, you're before you know it, you're going to be a grown up, or before you know it, time's going to fly. And you're like, yeah, I hope so. And as a kid, your time is too slow as a kid.
Yes.
Now time is too fast.
You're right. How old were you when you got your first job, and what was it?
14. I take that back. So my first job where I had to pay taxes, or like a
no,
proper?
The first thing where you had to like get up and be at a place to do a thing for money.
So every summer I would work for a different family member had always owned a business or something, some type of thing where you could like go and work for one of them over the summer.
Okay.
And so my dad, he is a pastor of a church. I think I told you this.
Yeah.
So like every summer I would either be at the church, like cleaning it up or moving stuff around, whatever the case was. It was like my summer job. Or my aunt had a catering business and this type of business, whatever. So it'd be like helping her with this or helping her with that. It was always some type of thing. My uncle had speaking of landscaping, a landscaping business. So for a lot of summers, I was working with him on either trash removal out of foreclosed homes, landscaping, all types of stuff like that. So yeah, it was always a family member who had their own business or their own something that they could like hire me to do some work and earn some dough over the summer.
Yeah, a little dough.
Until I got like a proper IRS job.
Which that was what, 14?
Yeah, that was at 14.
Isn't it amazing that we got jobs when we were like 12, 13, 14? Kids now do not. Am I old or is that a thing, man?
That's that. And also, I forgot, I was a before that job. I was a proper. Get this. This will unlock some nostalgia for you. Paper boy.
Ooh. Oh,
boom!
Boy. Paper boy.
The most stereotypical suburban preteen 90s 80s job you could possibly have. Paper boy. I was a legit paper boy.
Walk me through the paper boy job, dude, because I had one too.
Okay. So I wasn't the newspaper boy. I wasn't the Nintendo Game Boy newspaper ride your bike and throw it on
That game was amazing and sucked all at the same time.
All at the same time. I played that game out for no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason. It had no point, but I was addicted to that game. I would go to Blockbuster and rent that game.
Rent Paper Boy.
Paper Boy. I was so you remember, or I mean, they probably still have it, but every so often there would be a plastic bag hanging on the door, and it would be stuffed with different coupons and
circulars.
Circulars, correct?
Yes. Savers.
Savers.
Yeah.
I was that kid. But here's what I didn't realize prior to taking this gig was that you had to. I thought they came pre-stuffed, and you just went around.
No, sir.
When I tell you, mountains of mail, of separated mail would show up to our front door, and you had to assembly line one sheet of paper, one piece of coupon after another, and individually stuff all these bags. It would take me forever, to the point, shout out to my mom. My mom, unpaid, would help me.
Unpaid.
Would help me stuff these.
You didn't even like kick her a couple bucks, or maybe like a Raymore Flanagan ad.
No.
You're like, here, save 30% on a recliner of your choice.
No. It was hey, get in this, Mom.
Wow.
So and we was like stuffing bags, and then she would, because there were so many, she would drive me around while I would run and put the things. Let me tell you something. Needless to say, I did not have this gig for very long. It was probably about maybe 3 rounds of those, and I was like, this ain't gonna happen.
Wow, dude. Wow.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So she drove you around. Okay.
Yeah, because it was too many bags. It was too many.
How do you do it? Right. Yeah. It's so funny, man, because you and I were both like minor league paper routists.
Yeah.
Like we never hit the New Haven Register was the daily big newspaper. In fact, kids, there used to be 2 newspapers. There was the morning and there was the evening paper when I was a kid. Like, so there was like the high rollers.
Yeah.
Right. The Mark Cubans of the paper game in New Haven had like 2. They had a morning route and an evening route. So they were getting 2 deliveries to their house. One was at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and they're folding and stuffing like you're talking about. Yeah. And then they would do it again. Now there was a weekly paper, small paper called The Advisor. That was my job. I did The Advisor, and that was a smaller, local who cares news, but sort of like there's going to be a tag sale on Pool Road, or there's going to be a whatever, right? So, and I, like you, Charles, expected it to kind of come the pizza in the box, and I just deliver it. But no, I would get, dude, plastic zip tie wrapped, like condensed. and then a box of bags. And I can't tell you how many times I sliced my finger open trying to get that plastic thing. Man. And I'd always go, Ma, I got it. But she'd have to do it for me. Shout out, Mom. And then I'd bag, and my fingers would be ink, like just I mean, royal blue and black, and you got to wash it off like a million times.
Yeah.
But I would bag them, and then I would ride my bike and deliver them. So I had like a backpack and a side bag full of them, and I would ride my bike up and down our neighborhood, and all you had to do was just throw it in the driveway.
Yeah.
So that was a nice, easy one. But on days it rained, I would get a ride, Yeah. And I would always try to throw it. And here's one of those childing moments where it's like, I'm riding no hands. Like, I'm not holding the handlebars at all, which now I think I need 3 hands to hold it,
Yeah, and training wheels.
And training wheels and a helmet, and I'm going to pre-dial 9 and 1.
Yeah.
But, like, I literally would just have, like, one paper ready to go, another one here, and I would just woof, woof, like, as I pedaled. So I made it fun until a neighbor's German Shepherd decided to attack me.
Mm-hmm.
And it came at me, and it tried to bite my hand, and I moved my hand, and it bit my foam handlebar of the bike and left like teeth gnashes.
Wow.
In the thing, dude. Like, it like chunked off like a piece of the bike handle, and I just like started hitting the dog. Rode home, and I was like scared of dogs for a minute,
Yeah.
But
totally.
I was like, and it's amazing because it's like a teeny tiny little suburban side road, but back then it could have been North and South Korea, dude.
Right.
Like, it was.
Right.
I'm not going that way ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna figure out life by just going that way.
Yep.
Because of that dog. So there were times when I had to deliver that paper, and my mom wasn't there to drive me, so I had to just race by that house and pray that dog wasn't there. But a paper route was something that's going to be an extinct job if it's not already.
I can't imagine that it's I don't know if it's still a thing. I mean, somebody let us know in the chat, but I don't know that that's still
is a paper
necessary
route a thing?
gig. I can't imagine. It's like phone book delivery guy. Like, who?
Do you remember getting the phone book?
Yeah.
That was like an annual event. When you got a new phone book, it was like, oh, let's see what new let's see who's new in the seas.
You could literally dox somebody back then.
You doxed yourself.
You doxed yourself.
There was a book of docs. It was the docs book.
It was everybody's address, anything you wanted, right there.
It was
right
ridiculous.
There.
If you liked a girl, you looked at her up in the phone book.
You just looked her up in the phone book.
How weird of a life did we like, dude? People that are listening that remember this stuff, please send us your thoughts on it. Send us our comments and memories, please. areweoldpodcast@gmail.com. I mean, it's so funny to think about. What other jobs did we have that are just non-existent? Oh, I could tell you this.
Yeah.
I worked at Strawberries, which was a music store. And it was tapes and CDs and stuff, dude. And like those stores, I don't even see them anymore. I mean, sure, there's like a row or two of like ironic vinyl at Target now.
Right.
And you've got your old school record stores. But I worked at Strawberries, which was like a cassette tape in a big ass security case.
Yeah.
That like you had to like slide in and slide out and whatever, and like that was like a real deal. That was like a dream job growing up for me.
I had a girlfriend that worked at a record store in the mall. I used to get so many like tapes and CDs back then. It was great.
Would she steal for you, or would you steal?
No, she wouldn't steal, but she got either it was the discount or she would just get it for me because it was something that she just knew I wanted or something like that.
Yeah,
it was just one of those type of vibes.
Brother, I robbed the place blind.
I've robbed some places blind that I still might not even say on air because I'm afraid of any type of unknown statute of limitations.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Okay, we got to talk about this because I think most of this, I think I could talk about the stores I stole from because they're kind of all out of business. And I don't know if it's because of me stealing from.
Hilarious.
I stole from Strawberries. That was my music store that I worked at. me and my buddy, I'll leave his name out of it, but you know who you are. My boss was a chain smoker, and he would go out the back door, and literally, Charles, I'm telling you, and he did this without a phone. He would just stand outside for God knows how long and just smoke. Cigarettes were the original scrolling.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a take. It
right?
was.
Cigarettes were the original, but what you would do is just smoke and stare at things.
Yeah, or somebody would come up and ask you for a light or something like that.
And you talk to them and whatever.
Them,
but
blah, blah, blah.
You're like, I got to get out of here for a minute, was a cigarette. That was the original, just looking at your phone.
Yeah.
Right? So he would go out and chain smoke out the back door, and literally to shut off the security thing, which was just two things that were near the door, and if the magnetic strip set it off, it would beep. I was told, do not ever try to stop someone from stealing, but the alarm will let us know, and we'll call the cops and let them deal with it.
Right.
So it was really just a non-thing. It just made a noise. So if you ever are stealing and an alarm's going off, just keep going because they can't do anything. So I would put all the CDs that we wanted in the classical section, right? Or some section that no one cared about. So my buddy and I would make a list of the stuff we wanted, and I would just stack it. And then whenever I had a shift, my buddy would park his car and just sort of pace in the parking lot and just go back and forth. And you'd see him looking in can I come in? And I'm like, no, not yet. And then when the boss would go in back, I'd be like, come on. And he would I'd shut the thing off, and he'd come in and just rifle through the store. And we'd just take stacks of CDs and just run them out to the car. And then we'd divvy them up at school the next day. Blank tapes, because we would make mixtapes and shit, which so we would stole tons of blank tapes. But just this dude would be outside chain smoking, and we would just lift the store. It was great, dude.
Oh my God. Yeah. Back in, there was two stores that I worked, and it just ransacked, just completely ransacked. One store, so speaking of security, right, I knew back then all the security cameras would link to a VHS tape.
Oh, wow. That's high level.
Yeah. So all you had to do was, if you could get to the VCR and press stop, or just see if there was a tape inside, because sometimes they would rely on the fact that people would assume that they're always taping. But sometimes it's just maybe they didn't have room on the tape, or maybe they just didn't press record that day.
Right.
But if you could get that information, then you just knew, there's nothing, nobody's watching anything. And you would just run Rasha all over the place. It was insane.
Can I know what kind of store
you would
it
go back
was?
and you would see the VCR, you would see record on it, and you would go, everybody on their best behavior.
Yeah.
And it was kind of one of those things. It was wild times. Don't do that, kids.
Can I know what kind of store it was, though, at least? What type of merchandise? Was it clothing?
It wasn't clothing, but I'll say it's the type of store that sold food, but also movies and depending on if it was seasonal, so they'd be around Christmas time, they'd have all types of Razor scooters. They'd have DVD, all that kind of crap. Stuff that if you were 15, you'd be into if you if you got the chance.
I kind of feel like stealing was acceptable.
Cologne.
Childhood.
That was another thing. Sorry.
Oh shit! Yeah, cologne, dude. Cologne was an easy steal too.
Cologne. Yeah. It was. Wow. Yeah.
I don't know if stealing is as big now as it was then, but we stole a lot of stuff. We stole a lot of stuff, and we started a lot of fires.
Actual fires, or
not houses, just we would do little leaf fires and stuff. We would put a bunch of leaves together and set them on fire. Did they sometimes spread and burn a good portion of
somebody's yard or something?
Or a farm or a town, maybe.
My God. or a town. Good Lord.
Yeah. Did you ever do anything? Did you
arson? No, we never got to No, Michael, we never got to arson. It was pretty much petty theft,
Kid crimes.
kid crimes,
Yeah.
little
No, that
stuff
was
here and there.
leaf
No.
fires were big. But no, I do think that stealing was kind of like what a thrill as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Never from people. I never stole anyone's
No.
bike.
That was
or never
my
stole from
criminal. That was my criminal rule. It was just like never, a person or in someone's home, or anything like that.
No, no.
It was always like, oh, this billion-dollar stores. Not that it's right, kids. Any kids that might be listening with their parents or whatever. But yeah, that was my rationale as a kid. It was just like, what do they care? It's, billion-dollar corporation or whatever.
Listeners, did you steal? Let us know.
Yeah.
I want to hear stories of young thievery. I think it's so fun to look back on, like there was
stupid things that we did. To be clear, stupid, right?
Yeah,
and just
but
to look back and go, wow, how close were we to ruining our entire lives by just silly, stupid things?
Oh my God, yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
So much.
Be like just something as simple as, oh yeah, I stole a blah 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 from a blah, but they could have legit, called the cops or whatever the case that could have led to this or led to that or whatever.
Then you're setting
butterfly
fires
effect.
and whole towns are burning down.
Yeah.
Were you a vandal? Did you vandalize things?
No, I wasn't a vandal. I didn't like. Yeah, it was just sticky fingers of major corporations. That was it.
That's
It was
it.
white collar shit. You know
Robin
what I mean?
Hood type shit, dude.
Robin Hood type shit. Yes.
Yes, you steal a
Yeah.
case of gum from Walgreens. You steal some icebreakers.
Yeah.
And then you go share it with your friends.
Yeah, that's exactly
Everyone's
it.
chewing gum on me this week.
Yeah. There you go. There
I
you
love
go.
it. That's so fun. Maybe we should try to see if we could steal these days. Like how I would like to see.
You live in New York City. You literally can't get arrested for it now.
You literally cannot get arrested for it. That would be fun. We should show video right now of have you seen some of this? Like
Just
people
walk
that's
into
why
any CVS. And
yeah,
you'll be
literally.
fine. Have you been watching the news? It's open season.
Have you ever seen it in the wild? Like when you're in a store and someone's just
Oh yeah,
pantsing cereal and stuff.
it's crazy. Yeah,
It's out of this world. That's why deodorant's locked up.
Yeah.
The other day I had to go ask them to unlock the Dove soap.
It's insane. And then we wonder why stores are shutting down. And listen, I'll put my get off my lawn hat on now. I get sometimes with a store owner, corporation, business owner, when you pay taxes, now I'm putting my Republican hat on. When you pay
Charles
taxes,
old. Let's do it.
when you pay taxes and you understand the value of $1, and so not, obviously we've matured now, so I'm not advocating, stealing, but you, as someone who now understands the value of $1, and then you see, people ransacking the stores and all this kind of stuff. It's yeah, I understand. You can't complain when those stores shut down and move their businesses elsewhere. I would too if I was constantly getting robbed for thousands of dollars and no one was being charged for, or no one was getting in trouble for it. There was an incentive for people to just rob me blind. Yeah, I don't want to have a store over here, but.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
get me started.
Okay, well, no, I'm going to get you started here, old Charles.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
You're in a store.
Mm-hmm.
You're in DSW.
All right.
And
Getting some nice Adidas.
getting some
nice
kicks,
shell toe.
right? Some nice kicks. And you see two kids lifting sneaks, right? They're taking off their old stinkies and putting them in a box.
Yeah.
Putting new ones on, which I've done. And you see them stealing, just jamming sneakers in their bag, right?
Yeah.
Do you blow the whistle?
No, I'm not a snitch at the end of the day.
Okay.
I'm not that much of a Republican. I'm not going to snitch. I'm not, because at the end of the day, I'm still not siding with DSW over these kids.
Okay.
However, I'm the type of person that if they do happen to get caught, then you gotta do the crime, you do the time. It's just that type of thing. But no, I wouldn't snitch on the kids. If they get away with it, they get away with it.
Okay. All
But
right.
I'm more so I'm just a couple of these kids here or there or this or that. I'm just more so when it's just like a clear just rant, like, oh, like the world is coming to an end. Like you just see people just literally ransacking stores every so that type of stuff. Like looting.
Looting.
I guess that's when it gets to looting, then it's just like, all right, what are we what are we doing here? Like, is this Lord of the Flies? What is happening? Like,
so if it's just two kids looting, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, two kids swiping a couple sneakers, just whatever. But when it's like the town,
if the town's on fire,
an army of has ransacked a business, just like, all right, well, there probably should be some some law and order here.
Ask me if I would rat those kids out, Charles.
Would you rat those kids out?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. While the staff was busting their ass, I'd steal like 10 pairs of sneaks and run out of that goddamn store. So
there you go.
So I would, for my own, because that's two of them. If it's small time, if it's me alone, it's not a big deal.
Not a big deal, man.
It's not, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring home those new kicks, and I'm going to donate my semi-old kicks to Goodwill.
Boom, full circle.
Full circle, dude. Karma paid.
Karma paid. Yep,
that's
you
it.
Got this.
I will tell you, though, I do not like when I see people vandalizing someone's property. I never understood that. Where, somebody sure, toilet paper someone's tree on mischief night, throw eggs at their house, whatever, fine. But I don't know, if I ever saw anybody breaking into a house, I think I would intervene.
Yeah, I've never been, and I knew kids who did that kind of thing, and that was
breaking into a car.
Yeah, that was never my. Now you're getting into some hardcore shit. Now you're just a criminal. Like you're
right. Yeah, you're not stealing from a corporation. You're stealing from a person.
You're an actual menace to society now. That you're actually causing trauma onto actual people, as opposed to some billionaire going, "Oh, we're missing $200 off the," It's like, no, I'm not. Yeah. I was never. I didn't jive with that sort of behavior, even as a kid.
Yes. So don't do crimes in front of Charles and I.
That's right.
Unless they are against the man.
That's right. That's right. Because listen, the man is doing crimes against us every day.
Preaching to the choir, dude. I'm with you. Yep. I agree 100%. I wish I still had it in me to steal every now and then, but
I'm too afraid now.
I like to see what I can get away with. I like to go like, oh, can I try a whatever, and then, get a little free sample or something and see how far I could take that.
Yeah.
Free samples are just suburban stealing, really.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. With the free sample. Yeah. Can I get especially when you're behind the free sample.
Oh yeah.
When you're behind the free sample guy, it's now a nice swift smack to the back of the head. Because if I know what I want and you're free sampling, and I know you don't really give a shit about the thing you're sampling.
Yeah, you're not.
I know you just want a free taste of that, but you're really gonna buy the other thing, the cookies and cream. But it's like, why don't I sneak in some other flavors while I'm here?
Yeah.
Then I just cut in front of that guy. I go, he's gonna rob you of some samples. I know what I want. Give me what I want, and let him, taste test for the next 15 minutes.
You know what, dude? We sound pretty old, frankly. I think we just old it out, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Let us know, gang. Let us know.
Yeah, hit us up. I have a question for you.
Okay.
This is a question for the listeners. This is a question for you. It's areweoldpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts. Answer in the chat. I was watching some reruns of my favorite show growing up, Growing Pains.
Yeah.
Growing Pains was my favorite show growing up. And
it was a good show. Great show.
Yeah. Michael Seaver didn't necessarily turn out to be a guy I'd want to hang with, but when I was a kid, I was like, yo, Mike Seaver's the man, right?
Yeah.
Now, that show, I started off, I never had a crush on Carol Seaver. She was a very, not so much of a, no offense to Tracy gold herself, but
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Carol Seaver's character was not like a hot sister or whatever.
yeah.
She was kind of nerdy, and she eventually found her love.
The every girl, yeah.
Yeah, but over the course of my maturity and that show's tenure, I developed a heavy duty crush on Maggie Seaver, on
mom.
Mrs. Seaver.
Mrs. Seaver.
I had a big old crush on Mrs. Seaver, and I think going back and watching it now, I realized I had a thing for her. And I've always had a thing for older women, dude.
Me
I'm
too.
Like, is it because? Okay, so did you have a mom that you had?
Was there a hot TV mom that I crushed on?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Let me go through the. Let me
you
go through
always
the.
had a thing for older women too.
Let me go through the Rolodex. Well, definitely. Here's someone. I don't know if it was a crush, but it was definitely someone who I recognized how incredibly beautiful she was. Like as a kid, I could go, oh my God, this woman is like gorgeous beyond belief. Claire Huxtable.
Okay.
Claire Huxtable was like the epitome of like,
yeah,
sexy, sophisticated,
funny.
Like it was like,
yeah.
I can see why Cliff was like, I gotta put 5 kids in her.
Hilarious.
Was she awake? I don't know. But
did she know she had those 5
did
kids?
she know she had 5 kids? I don't know. But 5 kids were had, and I could definitely see why.
Gorgeous. She was amazing. She was captivating, powerful, and a hell of a mom.
Yeah,
she had your back. But she would also like call you on your shit.
Yeah.
She was welcoming to Cockroach and to all the friends.
Yep.
But she also, clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait on you. Yeah, she was a powerful, sexy woman.
Yeah.
I wonder if the thing with Maggie Seaver was there was always this weird. Growing Pains had kind of like a sexual undertone at times where it's like I kind of feel like Maggie Seaver and Mr. and Mrs. Seaver were getting down in that doctor's office and that psychiatrist's office in the front of the house.
Well, now I'm having a brain fart. Mr. Seaver,
Alan Thicke.
Alan Thicke. He was a sexy guy, man. This dude in real life was the man.
He was the man. Yeah.
He, like hosted the Miss America beauty pageant.
Nice head of hair.
Could sing. Was
Olive
writing all the
oil voice. Yeah.
was writing all the jingles for like all the old school sitcoms, Different Strokes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I could totally see him taking Mrs. Seaver in that back room and getting it popping. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He didn't marry her for no reason.
Okay, now ready? Give me your honest. Don't think about it. Just answer. Okay,
right.
we both like older women.
Yeah.
Mona.
Wait, which one was Mona? Because I don't.
Who's the boss?
Who's the boss? The mom of the mom? No, I never had a. It was a little too. Bro, we were already children. I didn't need to skip the.
It could have been worse. I could have said any of the Golden Girls, but I was just.
I was like, "Who's next? The grandma on Family Matters? Like, what do you? What's the matter? I didn't.
The mother from Dinosaurs.
It's like we were already.
Okay. Well, we have a cat.
No, hey, listen. Hey,
we have a
I
cat.
support whatever you're into, man. I support it.
I mean, she was a very sexually driven woman. She was in her she was like maybe the original cougar.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
Yeah.
Mona was like out there.
Yeah.
And like telling her daughter like get in there, get some, Yeah, she was bringing home dudes, and they had that Connecticut Fairfield County money though. They were wealthy, and I never thought too much of what I'm having a brain. Here's old guy moment. What the heck is her name? Angela.
I never, even as a kid, even though they ended up hooking up, right? As a kid, I was like, this feels forced.
It felt so forced.
It feels forced. Yeah.
I go back on that show. I got to tell you, I know it was probably just because of the way that it was scheduled. But I remember Who's the Boss in Growing Pains was like Bop, bop, bop. Who's the boss in Growing Pains?
Yeah.
Pizza and soda, ice cream and chocolate milk. Like it was just like a boom, boom.
Yeah.
I don't. I go back and I'm not madly in love with that show. Tony Danza was fun.
Yeah.
And Alyssa Milano was my always crush.
Alyssa Milano. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Milano. Yeah, I could watch the reruns now, and I could go, I remember, watching that show, but yeah, has it aged great? I don't know. Sometimes you just watch stuff and just to watch it again.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily because it was the greatest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Family Ties, though, I could watch that today and still get the feels.
Yeah.
Still get the feels.
But hey, you know what? Maggie Seaver, you have my heart and soul. I give you my she gets my number one for mom of my desires. I don't know how to say that properly.
Yeah, I don't know if that came out right.
And yours was
Claire.
yours is Claire Huxtable.
Claire,
I think two great choices.
Yeah.
Claire Huxtable, I feel like they're both two very they know how to make a man happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not messing around.
They're not messing around. Yeah.
And both of these people who we're talking about, right? The husbands to our favorite moms, had offices in their house.
Correct.
In the medical field with
Correct.
a closed door.
Correct.
So there is something about that, like,
I'm in the wrong field.
The doctor will see you now.
Yeah.
Right? And he was a psychiatrist in the house, in the living room. So she could go in on that yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot going on.
A lot going on. Yeah. Who are your favorite moms and dads for the lady listeners?
Yeah.
Or for whoever's listening? areweoldpodcast@gmail.com. It's interesting to think about your crushes. You know what I mean? Like Alyssa Milano was always just like, I mean, because I felt like I was like the same age with her.
Yeah.
As far as like kid TV show crushes, no, Winnie Cooper was always like a big deal.
Listen, Winnie Cooper. Mine was Ashley Banks.
Ashley Banks was cute.
Who else? It was a few. I mean, Lisa Turtle. Saved by the Bell.
Yeah. Okay. So out of that Lisa Turtle, Kelly Kapowski, and Jesse Spano.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Kelly Kapowski, but Lisa Turtle, I was like crazy about.
Yeah. She had it,
and she was cool. She was like she had it together, you know.
Yep.
Jesse Spano, I mean, listen, we all know she had a little bit of a speed addiction. And
a little bit of an addiction.
Turned into a stripper.
Listen, once striptease came out, she eclipsed everybody. Because I was in love. I was in love with Lisa Turtle, but once striptease came out, I was like, you know what? I had it all wrong about Jessie. I think she's my favorite now.
See, you never ever rip up the card until the horse race is over.
That's right, baby.
You know.
Right.
It's interesting. Yeah, that's fun. This is a fun. Oh man, I can't wait to read the crushes that the listeners are going to send us.
Yeah.
All right. So, Charles, to summarize, are we old? I think what we learned here is that yes, we are old, but it's okay to include a little bit of childing into our aging. I think that we acknowledge the fact that we need to make sure that we are childing as often as possible.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Maybe we are old on this one. Listeners, you let us know. Are we old? Should childing become an everyday process that you add into your adult life? Or do you just go, you know what? Just let me just rot the way I'm going to rot and leave the kids' stuff back in the in the memory bank. I don't know. I agree with you, Mike. I think childing it should be a necessary process that you add into your everyday life. Even if we are old, let's child as much as possible.
Just child safely. Wear a helmet when you child.
Right.
And
and if you get listen, and if any funny stuff ever happens with any of you with a minor, you're not allowed to tell the judge, well, I was childing at the time.
Yes. Yes, we did not just come up with a stipulation for. Yes, you're right.
It doesn't work that way. You're still a pervert.
Oh man, Thank you guys so much for listening. And as always, please like, rate, subscribe, review, follow us. That goes such a long way. YouTube.com @areweoldpod.com, I just said. So, yes, I'm old.
You old bastard.
Follow us on Instagram, the Tiki Talks. Patreon.com /areweoldpodcast. Facebook, all the things, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Sign up for notifications. We got a lot of fun stuff coming to you. Stay young.
Stay young, my friend.